You drink your water, you get your steps in, and you even try to pick the healthy options when you eat out. You feel like you've got a pretty good handle on your well-being. But what if I told you that some of your most trusted daily habits are the very ones your doctor wishes you would stop? What if the routines you've built, the ones you think are paving the way for a long and healthy life, are secretly working against you? It's a startling thought, but the line between a healthy habit and a harmful one can be surprisingly thin. Many of us are running on outdated information or common wellness myths, accidentally doing things that medical experts now know can lead to serious long-term problems. These aren't just minor mistakes, they are daily practices that can fuel chronic inflammation, metabolic disorders, heart disease, and a shorter life. In this video, we are exposing the top 10 so-called healthy or harmless habits that are secretly sabotaging your health. We've sifted through the advice of medical professionals and the latest scientific research to bring you a clear list of what you need to stop doing, starting today. Prepare to be surprised because some of these might be staples in your daily life. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with the knowledge to make small but powerful changes that could redefine your health. So get ready to rethink your routine as we count down the 10 daily habits doctors recommend you ditch. Section 1, Habit 10, the silent sabotage of sitting too much. Let's kick off our countdown with a habit so common it's almost invisible, sitting for too long. You wake up and sit for breakfast. You sit in the car on the way to work. You sit at a desk for 8 hours. You sit on the drive home. Then you relax on the couch and you're sitting again. It feels completely normal, but doctors are increasingly calling sitting the new smoking. While smoking is still considered more dangerous, the comparison is used to highlight the serious, cumulative damage that a sedentary life can cause. The issue isn't just a lack of movement, it's the active harm that being sedentary inflicts on your body. When you sit for long stretches, your entire metabolism starts to downshift. Your large muscle groups, especially in your legs and glutes, go dormant. This muscular inactivity signals a major problem for your metabolism. Here's what's happening inside. An enzyme that's crucial for breaking down fats in your blood, lipoprotein lipase, basically switches off when you're seated. This allows fats to build up in your bloodstream, contributing to unhealthy cholesterol levels and raising your risk for heart disease. At the same time, your body's response to insulin becomes sluggish. This insulin resistance can pave the way for type 2 diabetes and a group of conditions called metabolic syndrome, which includes high blood pressure and high blood sugar. The stats are pretty sobering. One analysis covering over 1 million people found that those who sat for more than 8 hours a day with no physical activity had a risk of dying similar to that posed by obesity. Other research connects a sedentary lifestyle to a higher risk of heart disease, diabetes, certain cancers, and even early death. One recent study even highlighted that prolonged sedentary time is associated with up to a 60% greater risk of heart failure. So what's the fix? You don't have to run a marathon. The key is to break up your sitting time consistently throughout the day. Set a timer to stand up and walk around for a few minutes every 30 minutes. Walk over to a colleague's desk instead of sending an email. Take phone calls while standing or pacing. Even these small, frequent movements can reignite your metabolism, improve insulin sensitivity, and dramatically cut the health risks of a sedentary life. It's about changing your default from sitting to moving whenever possible. Section 2, Habit 9, the sweet poison of eating too much sugar. Coming in at number 9 is a habit most of us are guilty of, often without realizing just how much damage it's doing. Consuming too much added sugar. We aren't talking about the natural sugar in a piece of fruit. We're talking about the refined sugars, like high fructose corn syrup, that are added to a shocking 74% of packaged foods. It's in your soda, your cereal, your salad dressing, and even your healthy yogurt. This hidden enemy is a staple in the modern diet, and its consequences are anything but sweet. The problem is how our bodies handle this sugar overload. A high sugar meal causes a rapid spike in your blood glucose, forcing your pancreas to work overtime pumping out insulin. Over time, this constant demand can lead to insulin resistance, a key driver of type 2 diabetes, but it doesn't stop there. Excessive sugar intake is a major cause of chronic low-grade inflammation. This isn't like the swelling from an injury, it's a persistent body-wide state of alert that damages healthy tissues. This chronic inflammation is now seen as a major contributor to a huge range of conditions, including heart disease, obesity, and certain cancers. For instance, a major study in JAMA Internal Medicine found that people who got a high percentage of their daily calories from added sugar had more than double the risk of dying from heart disease. Your brain also takes a hit. While it needs glucose for fuel, too much is toxic. High sugar consumption is linked to memory problems and a greater degree of brain shrinkage. It can also hijack the brain's reward system, fueling addiction-like cravings that make it incredibly hard to stop. Some studies have even found that people with the highest sugar intake were 23% more likely to be diagnosed with a mental disorder like depression. The solution is to become a label detective
addictive and see where sugar is hiding. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 9 teaspoons of added sugar per day for men and 6 for women. Start by cutting out sugary drinks like sodas and juices. Swap processed snacks and sugary cereals for whole foods like fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Be wary of sauces and low-fat products, which often trade fat for heaps of sugar. Breaking this habit isn't just about weight, it's about putting out the inflammatory fire inside your body.
Section 3. Habit 8. The unseen dangers of inhaling nicotine. At number 8 is a habit that has changed its look over the years but remains one of the most destructive things you can do to your body. Inhaling nicotine, whether from traditional cigarettes or modern vapes. The dangers of smoking have been known for decades, but with the rise of e-cigarettes, a new generation has been introduced to nicotine under the guise of a safer alternative. Doctors are clear, there is no safe way to inhale nicotine. First, the original villain, cigarettes. When you smoke, you're inhaling a toxic mix of over 7,000 chemicals, including tar, carbon monoxide, and hundreds of carcinogens. This cocktail damages nearly every organ in your body and is the leading cause of preventable death, directly linked to lung cancer, heart disease, and stroke. Now for the modern Trojan horse, vaping. E-cigarettes are often sold as a way for smokers to reduce harm, and while they don't have the tar from burning tobacco, that doesn't make them safe. A 2025 analysis confirms that vaping is not harmless. Some health authorities say vaping is less harmful than smoking, but it's like comparing a fall from a 10-story building to a fall from a 100-story one. You don't want either. The aerosol from e-cigarettes isn't just water vapor, it contains dangerous compounds and heavy metals that can damage the lungs. The nicotine itself, no matter how you get it, is highly addictive and bad for your heart. It constricts blood vessels, raises your heart rate, and hardens your arteries over time. Emerging research has linked exclusive e-cigarette use to a higher risk of developing lung disease and high blood pressure. The long-term effects of inhaling vape flavorings are still largely unknown, but early studies point to lung injury and inflammation. The medical consensus is clear. Vaping is not a safe habit, especially for non-smokers and young people. The only real solution is to quit completely. Stopping is the single best thing you can do for your health. The benefits start almost immediately. If you smoke, switching to vaping might be a step, but the final goal should always be a life free from nicotine. Public health guidance supports vaping only as a tool for current smokers trying to quit, not for casual use. If you don't use nicotine, don't start. If you do, get help to stop. Your body will thank you for it. Section 4. Habit 7. Overloading on protein. Next up, at number 7, is a trend that's huge in the fitness world, going overboard on protein. High protein diets are sold as the secret to weight loss and muscle gain. And while protein is essential, the more is better approach can backfire, putting a serious strain on your body. The main issue with too much protein, especially from animal sources, is the stress it puts on your kidneys and liver. Your kidneys filter waste from your blood, and the byproducts of protein metabolism are a big part of that waste. A consistently high protein diet makes your kidneys work much harder. For someone with a pre-existing or undiagnosed kidney condition, this can speed up kidney damage. A telltale sign you might be overdoing it is foamy urine, which can indicate excess protein in the urine, a marker of kidney stress. The source of your protein also matters a lot. Diets heavy in red and processed meats are often high in saturated fat and have been linked to a higher risk of heart disease and certain cancers. They can also disrupt the balance of healthy bacteria in your gut, which can promote inflammation. And that idea that you need massive amounts of protein to build muscle, it's mostly a myth. Your body can't store protein. Once your needs are met, any extra is either used for energy or stored as fat. That means eating too much protein can ironically lead to weight gain, just like excess calories from anything else. The solution is all about balance and quality. A general guideline for a sedentary adult is about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Even if you're active, you probably don't need as much as you think. Try to diversify your protein sources. Bring in more plant-based proteins like lentils, beans, tofu, and nuts. They're lower in saturated fat and provide fiber and other nutrients. When you do eat animal protein, go for leaner choices like chicken, fish, and low-fat dairy. This way, you give your body what it needs without overloading your system. Section 5, Habit 6, the myth of catch-up. Sleep now for habit number 6, something that defines the modern work week. Skimping on sleep all week and then sleeping in on the weekends to catch up. You burn the midnight oil Monday to Friday, telling yourself you'll pay back that sleep debt on Saturday. It feels like a smart trade-off, but experts are clear. You can't treat sleep like a bank account. This habit is a serious blow to your health. The problem with a roller coaster sleep schedule is that it messes with your body's internal clock or circadian rhythm. This 24-hour cycle controls everything from your hormones to your metabolism. When you drastically shift your sleep times, you create a kind of internal confusion known as social jet lag. Your body never truly adjusts, and the consequences are huge. Research from the National Institutes of Health has shown that this pattern of sleep restriction and weekend recovery can wreck your metabolism. In one study, people who followed this pattern gained weight and showed reduced insulin sensitivity, a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes. What's shocking is that the catch-up sleep on the weekend didn't reverse the damage. In fact, other studies show an inconsistent sleep routine can increase the odds of metabolic disorders by as much as 27%. The damage goes beyond metabolism. Irregular sleep is linked to poorer food choices like eating more fast food and fewer vegetables. It's also tied to a higher risk of high blood pressure, obesity, and mental health issues like depression and anxiety. Even if you feel mentally rested after sleeping in, your body's systems are still out of whack. The solution, while tough, is simple. Prioritize consistency. Go to bed and wake up at roughly the same time every day. Yes, even on weekends. This anchors your circadian rhythm and helps all your bodily systems run more efficiently. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep a night. If you have a late night, a short nap the next afternoon is better than sleeping in for hours and throwing your whole schedule off. Consistency is king when it comes to sleep. We're halfway through and I've got to ask, have any of these hit a little too close to home? Maybe you're sitting on the couch right now, or you just finished a sugary drink. Let us know in the comments which one of these habits has been a part of your routine. And if you're finding this information valuable, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're dedicated to bringing you evidence-based advice to help you live a longer, healthier life. Now, let's get back to the countdown. Section 6, Habit. 5, the pitfall of skipping meals. Coming in at number 5 is something people often do for weight loss, skipping meals. Whether it's a frantic morning with no time for breakfast or deliberately passing on lunch to save calories, many believe eating less often is a shortcut to a healthier body. But doctors warn this can seriously backfire, messing with your metabolism and leading to bad food choices. When you skip a meal, your body senses a fuel shortage and kicks into survival mode, your blood sugar drops, which can lead to brain fog, irritability, and fatigue. Your body also ramps up production of the stress hormone cortisol, leaving you feeling hangry. This is where your good intentions fall apart. Your primal drive for quick energy takes over, causing intense cravings for high-calorie, unhealthy foods. This often leads to overeating at your next meal, as your body, fearing another shortage, pushes you to consume way more than you normally would. This cycle of starving and binging puts you on a blood sugar roller coaster. While the idea of starvation mode slowing your metabolism is often exaggerated for occasional meal skipping, the behavioral effects are very real. The intense hunger often leads to binging, which undermines any calorie-saving efforts. Habitually skipping meals, particularly breakfast, has been linked in large studies to a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes and heart disease. You also miss out on chances to get the vitamins and minerals your body needs. The solution is to eat regular, balanced meals. Eating every 4 to 6 hours helps keep blood sugar stable, your energy up, and prevents the ravenous hunger that leads to bad decisions. Planning your meals ahead of time can be a huge help. Keep healthy, protein, and fiber-rich snacks on hand, like nuts, yogurt, or an apple with cheese, to hold you over. Eating consistently isn't about eating more, it's about fueling your body intelligently. Section 7, Habit 4, the trap of extreme workouts. At number 4, we have a habit born from pure dedication that can quickly turn destructive: overtraining. In our no pain, no gain culture, it's easy to think that pushing your body to its absolute limit every day is the fastest way to get results. But more is not always more. Without proper rest, excessive exercise becomes harmful, leading to a condition called overtraining syndrome. Overtraining happens when the stress you put on your body is consistently more than it can recover from. Instead of getting stronger, you start to see your performance decline. Your muscles feel constantly heavy, and workouts that used to be easy become a struggle. This is your body's first major warning sign. The physiological effects are serious. The constant stress can lead to hormonal imbalances, mess with your metabolism, and tank your mood. One of the biggest impacts is on your immune system. Overtraining suppresses it, leaving you vulnerable to frequent colds and infections. Find yourself getting sick all the time while training hard? That's a classic symptom. The physical toll also includes a much higher risk of injury. When your body is chronically fatigued, your form gets sloppy unhappy, increasing the odds of muscle strains, tendinitis, and even stress fractures. Mentally, overtraining is linked to irritability, anxiety, and depression. The very activity that once brought you joy can become a source of dread. The key to avoiding this is to see rest and recovery as a critical part of your training. Listen to your body and prioritize smart recovery. Build planned rest days into your week. Mix up the intensity of your workouts with hard days and lighter, active recovery days. Make sure you're getting enough quality sleep, because that's when most muscle repair happens. If you feel persistent fatigue or a drop in performance, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a signal that your body needs a break. Section 8, Habit 3, the deception of processed foods. We're in our top 3, and habit number 3 is a massive contributor to the chronic disease epidemic, regularly eating ultra-processed foods. We're not talking about canned vegetables or frozen fruit. We're talking about industrial formulations, packaged snacks, sugary drinks, and fast food that are engineered to be irresistible and have a long shelf life, but at a huge cost to your health. The problem with these foods is that they are nutritionally empty and chemically dense. They're packed with calories, added sugar, unhealthy fats, and sodium, while being stripped of essential fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They also contain a range of industrial additives, preservatives, artificial colors, and flavor enhancers that your body doesn't recognize. This can trigger an immune response, contributing to the low-grade chronic inflammation at the root of so many diseases. A diet high in processed foods also has a terrible impact on your gut microbiome. Preservatives and artificial sweeteners can kill off good bacteria, leading to digestive issues and inflammation. Over time, this can degrade the lining of your gut, a condition known as increased intestinal permeability, which allows harmful substances to pass into your bloodstream, spreading inflammation throughout your body. In fact, a flood of recent research has shown direct links between high ultra-processed food consumption and an increased risk of over 30 different health problems, including heart disease, mental disorders, and early death. The way these foods are designed also hijacks your natural hunger cues. The mix of refined carbs, fat, and salt is engineered to make you overeat. This puts you on an inflammatory roller coaster and contributes to insulin resistance and weight gain. The solution is to embrace whole foods. Build your meals around things that are as close to their natural state as possible. Fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. Start with small swaps. Replace that bag of chips with a handful of almonds. Cook one extra meal at home each week. Read ingredient labels. If you see a long list of chemical names you can't pronounce, it's a good sign it's ultra-processed and should be avoided. Section 9, Habit 2, the escalating risk of binge drinking. As we near the top, we come to a habit that's often normalized and dangerously misunderstood: binge drinking. Many people who call themselves social drinkers don't realize their habits fall into the high-risk category of binge drinking, typically defined as 5 or more drinks for men or 4 or more for women in about 2 hours. This pattern, even if it's not frequent, can have severe consequences. When you binge drink, you overwhelm your liver's ability to process alcohol. A single binge can cause fat to build up in the liver. Repeated episodes can lead to inflammation, scarring, and eventually liver failure. But the damage doesn't stop there. Alcohol is a toxin for your entire cardiovascular system. Binge drinking can cause a sudden spike in blood pressure and is linked to an increased risk of stroke and an irregular heartbeat. Over time, heavy alcohol use weakens the heart muscle, which can lead to heart failure. You know that old story about a glass of red wine being good for your heart? Well, newer, more comprehensive research is telling a different story, showing that the risks associated with alcohol, including a higher cancer risk, generally outweigh any potential benefits. There is no amount of alcohol that is truly safe for your health. Alcohol is a known carcinogen linked to cancers of the mouth, throat, liver, colon, and breast. It also damages your brain, impairing judgment in the short term and contributing to brain shrinkage and cognitive decline in the long term. It wrecks your sleep and can make mental health issues like anxiety and depression much worse. The only safe approach is extreme moderation, or even better, abstention. If you do drink, stay within the guidelines. No more than 1 drink a day for women and 2 for men, and that's an upper limit, not a daily goal. Never save up your drinks for the weekend. That is the very definition of binge drinking. To break the habit, start by being more mindful of your consumption. Find other ways to socialize and de-stress. If you find it hard to control your drinking, that's a sign you may need help. Talk to your doctor. Reducing or eliminating alcohol is one of the most powerful things you can do for your long-term health. Section 10, Habit 1, Overeating and Emotional Eating. And now, the number 1 habit that doctors urgently want you to ditch. It's a behavior tangled up with our emotions, our schedules, and our modern food environment. Overeating, especially when you're not physically hungry. This includes eating to cope with stress or boredom, as well as just habitually finishing everything on your plate or mindlessly snacking in front of the TV. This disconnect from our body's natural hunger signals is a primary driver of obesity and the devastating diseases that follow. At its core, overeating is simple, consuming more calories than your body needs. When this happens consistently, the excess energy is stored as fat. This leads to weight gain and eventually obesity, which isn't just a cosmetic issue. It is a complex metabolic disease that dramatically increases your risk for a whole host of chronic conditions. The health consequences are staggering. Obesity is a major risk factor for type 2 diabetes, as excess fat around the organs causes severe insulin resistance. It's a leading cause of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. It's also linked to several types of cancer, puts immense pressure on your joints leading to arthritis, and is associated with sleep apnea. Emotional eating is a particularly sneaky form of overeating. When you use high-fat, high-sugar comfort foods to soothe difficult emotions, you create a powerful neurological habit that's hard to break. This leads to a vicious cycle where stress triggers eating, which leads to guilt, which causes more stress and more eating. The solution lies in practicing mindfulness and reconnecting with your body. The first step is learning to tell the difference between physical and emotional hunger. Physical hunger comes on gradually. Emotional hunger tends to be sudden and intense, with a craving for a specific food. The next time you reach for a snack, just stop for 1 second and ask yourself, am I truly hungry? To beat emotional eating, you need to find other ways to cope with stress. Go for a walk, listen to music, journal, or call a friend. Find ways to comfort yourself that don't involve food. Practicing mindful eating is also a game changer. When you eat, get rid of distractions. Pay attention to the colors, smells, and tastes of your food. Eat slowly. It gives your brain the 20 minutes it needs to get the I'm full signal from your stomach, helping you stop when you're satisfied, not stuffed. We've just counted down 10 of the most common yet harmful habits that medical experts are urging us to leave behind. From the danger of a sedentary day to the inflammatory damage of a high sugar diet, from the myth of catch-up sleep to the cycle of overeating, it's clear that some of our most common routines might be our biggest health obstacles. The point of this isn't to make you feel guilty. It's to empower you with knowledge. It's about understanding that small daily choices add up over time to have a huge impact on your life. And the good news is, you have the power to change. You can choose to stand up more, to read a label, to set a consistent bedtime, or to find a new way to handle stress. Don't feel like you have to fix all of these at once. That's overwhelming. Instead, just pick one. Pick the habit that resonates with you the most, the one you feel you can realistically change starting today. Master that, then move on to the next. Health isn't a destination, it's a journey of making conscious, informed choices. By ditching these habits and building healthier ones, you're not just avoiding disease, you're actively building a more vibrant, resilient, and longer life. Thank you for joining us. If this video opened your eyes, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone you care about. For more content to help you live your healthiest life, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll see you in the next video.